How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, you saw me do the video earlier about Winson Green, about trying to get former prisoners to contact me. Of my 8,152 subscribers, a handful of them sent my vlog to a guy called Tanea from Birmingham. Top kid, been through Winson Green prison. Very insightful, very knowledgeable, knows his jail. He gets in contact with me. I've patched him through to the journalist. It's now 5-1 on Monday, August the 20th. He's going to be doing interviews later on with the national media, which will be on the national news. I'll try and record that so I can bring that to you guys. And it's all reference G4S ran Birmingham prison, Winson Green prison, right? It's the first privatised prison in the system, right? Just listen to this, guys. This is what privatisation brings, right? Now, the headline reads, HMP Birmingham is taken over by government as inmates at private run prison have more power than staff. Put a link in the description below like I always do, yeah? The Ministry of Justice will put in place a new governor and senior management at the jail. The government has been forced to step in and take control of a privately run prison, HMP Birmingham, one of the country's biggest jails, which is beset by violence and where the inmates have more power than staff. The Ministry of Justice will put in place a new governor and senior management at the jail, which is currently run by G4S and which inspectors say is poor in every category, only the second time they have awarded the lowest classification. Inspectors found the prison in an appalling state with high violence, widespread bullying, squalid living conditions, poor control by fearful staff. The MOJ decision comes as the Chief Prisons Inspector has invoked a special measure calling on the Justice Secretary David Gork to launch an urgent and independent inquiry into the crisis. In a letter sent to David Gork on the 16th of August, Peter Clark demanded an explanation for how the prison had been allowed to deteriorate so dramatically since its last inspection just 18 months ago. Inspectors found that of the 70 recommendations made at the previous inspection, just 14 had been achieved, while none of the main recommendations concerning violence, staff-prisoner relationships, poor regimes, a lack of focus on education, training and work had been met. The damning letter reveals a catalogue of failures and paints a picture of a total loss of control on the part of the G4S management. HMP Birmingham has the largest volume of assaults, 1,434 of all prisons in the year to July 2018. Experts found that the assaults were often serious and prisoners and staff frequently needed hospital treatment. As a result of the numbers of prisoners were isolating themselves in their cells, those the inspectors found were locked up in their cells for over 23 hours, sometimes even 24 hours a day, but still felt quite unsafe, describing ongoing intimidation, including other prisoners squirting urine or throwing feces through their broken observation panels. Staff were often targeted, including an arson attack during the week of the inspection, which destroyed 9 staff vehicles, 7 belonging to staff, 2 belonging to those of the inspection team, in a car park opposite the prison. When it came to the drugs, inspectors found that they were used quite openly, while testing suggested a third of prisoners were using illicit substances. 1 in 7 said they had developed a problem with illicit drugs since they had been in Birmingham. Meanwhile, in the 18 months between inspections, 3 prisoners took their own lives. God bless them 3, may they rest in peace. Inspectors found that the prison was filthy, especially the shared areas. Mr. Clark explained how rubbish had been left to build up and there were widespread problems with insects, including cockroaches. He said, "We saw evidence of bodily fluids left unattended, including blood and vomit. I saw a shower area where there was blood-stained clothing and a pool of blood that had been apparently there for 2 days, next to numerous rat droppings." The Chief Inspector outlined significant concerns about the confidence and competence of those in charge of managing offenders and those arranging a prisoner's release. He said that little had been done to address the risk posed by more than the doubling of the number of sex offenders to more than 200. Mr. Clark said he had concerns about the release of high-risk prisoners. He said between August and November this year, 50 high-risk men are due to be released, and we were greatly concerned that the measures to protect the public from those men whilst in prison and on release were very poor. Mr. Clark said he believed the improvements would not take place without understanding why the contact between the government and G4S had failed. He said the inertia that seems to have gripped both the monitoring, the contract and the delivering it on the ground has led to one of Britain's leading jails slipping into a state of crisis. That is remarkable, even by the low standards we have seen all too frequently in recent years. The MOJ will take over the running of the prison for an initial 6 months, but this will be extended if sufficient progress is not made. The government insists the crisis at Birmingham is not because running it was outsourced to the private sector. Yeah, of course not. Rubbish. Prisons Minister Rory Stewart has said he will quit unless violence in a number of key prisons falls significantly in the next year. What we have seen at Birmingham is unacceptable, and it's become clear that drastic action is required to bring about the improvements we require. This step in means we can provide additional resources to the prison while insulating the taxpayer from the inevitable cost this entails. We have a good privately run prisons across the country, and while Birmingham faces its own particular set of challenges, I am absolutely clear that it must start to live up to the standards seen elsewhere. Richard Burgin MP, Labour Shadow Justice Secretary, said this is shocking situation underlines the dangerous consequences of the even greater privatisation of our justice system. HMP Birmingham was the first publicly run prison transferred to the private sector. This should be a nail in the coffin of the flawed idea of prison privatisation. The government must scrap its recently announced plans to build yet more private prisons. With a Labour government, there will be no new private prisons and no public sector prisons will be privatised. Wow, guys, that's a tongue twister and a half, right? Right, like I say, privatisation, guys, right? Prisoners and prison officer numbers, right? Prisoners and prison officers are used as political pawns with the end goal being financial gain, right? And like I say, it's all about profit margins, right? And like I say, the prisons ran down, appalling conditions, broken, do you know what I mean? Broken observation panels, badly run, not the numbers. And the thing is as well, you've got to remember, guys, right? Staff retention's a huge problem within any private prison, Her Majesty's Prison Service, Sodexo Justice Services, Serco, or G4S. When it comes to prisons, the people that sign up to be prison officers, the job set's sold to them a certain way, and the reality is it's completely the opposite. And you've got young lads that are 19, 20, 21, or girls that are attractive, 20, 21-year-old, walking the landings, right, looking after cons, and they're being manipulated and they're fearing danger and stuff, and cons are taking over. There's more cons than there are prison officers. The privatisation is just absolute. The fact that they're saying it's nothing to do with the prison being privatised is absolutely clueless, guys. Like I say, G4S are not fit to run a bloody bath, right? And like I say, it's reoffending rates are too high. The prison, like I said, the prisons should be places where prisons are treated with humanity and where it's clean and safe and humane, right? And then obviously it should be places of productivity with skills training and education. It says there that prison officer to prisoner relationships have gone down a Swanee. Work, employment, do you know what I mean? Things like that within a prison, yeah. It's just absolutely farcical, guys. Honest to God. Sorry, I'm absolutely knackered, guys. I'm rambling on. I'm going to leave the video here. Like I say, let me know what you think about the video. Feel free to share the video. And watch out for tonight on the news, ITV news throughout the day. On that note, guys, I'm going to leave it here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video. If you've been in Winson Green Prison, what you think about the privatisation of the prison. This was the first privatised prison, right? And it just shows privatisation has failed, guys. Right? On that note, I'm going to leave it with you. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.